Starts with a powwow.
Hey. Yes.
Hi.
Oh man.
You're
So
very cute.
Yeah, she's so cute. She's cute.
Oh God.
She's cute. Are you gonna say hi? She likes screens, so she might actually look.
She likes screens.
Yeah, she can watch TV. She loves Guy Fieri.
Oh my
I don't know
gosh.
why.
Oh. She's like, I'm gonna eat your hand.
Yeah, all the time. Hands, everything. She wants to eat everything. But yeah, she's cute and likes being a lap dog, which I'm actually excited for when she gets super big.
Murat may pop in. Or not.
Okay.
Whatever. Well, get started. So Darian, best student, #1 fan. Do you want to give us a quick review of what's happened?
Oh my gosh. We're in the Trojan War, year 9. I know that was the first chapter. Let's see, the second chapter. Do you want me to just talk about the second book?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay. What happens before all those ships? Basically, honestly, I don't know if I can tell you more than that there's a lot of ships in this book.
There are a lot of ships. The basic gist is that Zeus is on Achilles' side, and at the moment, Achilles wants the Trojans to be winning, so that it's clear to Agamemnon that he needs Achilles to fight with him.
Yeah, Agamemnon is still a dick.
Yes.
Oh, also there's Nestor now, and he's smart.
Yep. Odysseus is also there, and he's also smart.
And Odysseus.
Yes. Nestor and Odysseus are both smart. Nestor is old. It's his other defining character trait.
Aw.
Old man. Odysseus is not that old. All right, so near the end of the list of ships and people, it transitions to talk about the Trojans, which is a great transition into the beginning of book 3, where we start on the Trojan side of the war, called Helen Reviews the Champions. Now, with the squadrons marshaled, captains leading each, the Trojans came with cries and the din of war like wildfowl, when the long hoarse cries of cranes sweep on against the sky, and the great formations flee from winter's grim ungodly storms, flying in force, shrieking south to the ocean gulfs, speeding blood and death to the pygmy warriors, launching at daybreak savage battle down upon their heads. But Achaea's armies came on strong in silence, breathing combat fury, hearts ablaze to defend each other to the death. Trojans loud, Greeks quiet. When the south wind showers mist on the mountain tops, no friend to shepherds, better than night to thieves. You can see no further than you can fling a stone. So dust came clouding, swirling up from the feet of armies marching at top speed, trampling through the plain. Now closer, closing, front to front in the onset till Paris sprang from the Trojan forward ranks, a challenger, lithe, magnificent as a god, the skin of a leopard slung across his shoulders, a reflex bow at his back and battle sword at hip, and brandishing 2 sharp spears tipped in bronze, he strode forth, challenging all the Argive best to fight him face to face in mortal combat. Who is Paris? Who knows? Colin?
Sure.
He's the guy who stole whoever's his wife. He's the guy who, what was it? Aphrodite really likes him because
Stole Helen?
Paris said that Aphrodite is the prettiest, and then Aphrodite was like, well, I'll give you the other prettiest, Helen.
Yes, you're right. So Paris is the reason this whole thing's happening. He took Helen, and now there's a war. Now he doesn't often fight. He's not really a fighter, but he's come out with the front. He's wearing a leopard skin, no armor, and He comes out and he goes, I'm challenging the best Argive to face me in face-to-face mortal combat, one-on-one. He just comes out blazing. Now, he took Helen from Menelaus, and Menelaus is there. He sees Paris. Soon as the warrior Menelaus marked him, Paris parading there with his big, loping strides flaunting before the troops, Atrides thrilled like a lion, lighting on some handsome carcass, lucky to find an antlered stag or wild goat just as hunger strikes. He rips it, bolts it down, even with running dogs and lusty hunters rushing him. So Menelaus thrilled at heart, princely Paris there, right before his eyes, the outlaw, the adulterer. Now for revenge, he thought, and down he leapt from his chariot, fully armed, and hit the ground. But soon as magnificent Paris marked Atrides shining among his champions, Paris's spirit shook. Backing into his friendly ranks, he cringed from death, as one who trips on a snake in a hilltop hollow recoils suddenly, trembling grips his knees, and pallor takes his cheeks, and back he shrinks. Lacey's growling at someone. So he dissolved again in the proud Trojan lines, dreading Atrides, magnificent, brave Paris. So the book's making fun of him because Paris is not so brave. Paris basically sucks. He's all talk, no action. And now we get Colin's favorite, everyone's favorite Trojan, Hector. Hector is Paris's brother, his older and better and stronger and cooler brother, Hector. He's just
loves his wife more.
Oh yeah, he loves his wife. We'll get to see that in a couple chapters.
Wait, loves Paris's wife more, or
No.
loves his own wife more than Paris's wife?
His own. At one glance, Hector raked his brother with insults, stinging taunts. Okay, who wants to be Hector? The coolest of the Trojans.
I'll be Hector.
Yeah, kill it.
Paris, appalling Paris, our prince of beauty, mad for women, you lure them all to ruin. Would to God you'd never been born, died unwed. That's all I'd ask. Better that way by far than to have you strutting here in outrage, a mockery in the eyes of all our enemies. Why, the long-haired Achaeans must be roaring with laughter. Please hold. They thought you, the bravest champion we could field, and just because of the handsome luster on your limbs, but you have no pith, no fighting strength inside you. What? Is this the man who mustered the oarsmen once, who braved the seas in his racing deep-sea ships, trafficked with outlanders, carried off a woman far from her distant shores, a great beauty wed to a land of rugged spearmen? You?
Just destroying him.
Yeah.
You ever just lay into your brother?
Yeah.
You suck because of this and this and this.
You?
It's good exposition. It's almost like Paris was like, do you remember why I suck again? Yeah, let's go through it.
Oh, I can tell you why you suck. You, curse to your father, your city, and all your people, a joy to our enemies, rank disgrace to yourself. So, you can't stand up to the battling Menelaus? You'd soon feel his force, that man you robbed of his sumptuous, warm wife. No use to you then, the fine lyre and these gifts of Aphrodite, your long flowing locks and your striking looks, not when you roll and couple with the dust. What cowards, the men of Troy, or years ago, they'd have decked you out in a suit of rocky armor, stoned you to death for all the wrongs you've done.
That's like a roast. He's like, you suck so much, our father sucks.
It's it's great. He's like, yeah, I mean, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. I mean, Paris is the reason why they're doing this war. So the fact that they've been at war for 9 years is all because of Paris, and Paris sucks. So everyone's super mad at him. The Trojans at this point are mostly fighting due to honor. It's very like duty based, whereas, I mean, same with the Greeks, but the Greeks are bound by like a contract that we went over in episode 1. But the Trojans are just kind of fighting because their prince demands it, more or less. It's just like an honor. And Hector, it's like his brother needs a fighter, so he's doing it. But it doesn't mean he has to be happy about it. Okay, and now Paris, magnificent as a god, replied. Who wants to be Paris?
Colin, I'll be Paris if you don't want to be Paris. All right. In Paris, magnificent as a god, replied, Hector, you criticized me fairly, yes. So he's like, oh yeah, all this stuff's true. I suck.
You're right.
True.
Yeah. Could you imagine someone roasted you for that long and you're just like, yeah, you're right.
Can't deny it.
Yes, nothing unfair. Beyond what I deserve. The heart inside you is always tempered hard, like an axe that goes through wood when a shipwright cuts out ship timbers with every ounce of skill, and the blade weight drives the man's stroke. So the heart inside your chest is never gone. Still, don't fling in my face a lovely gift of gold and Aphrodite, not to be tossed aside, the gifts of the gods, those glories. Whatever the gods give of their own free will, how could we ever choose them for ourselves? If you really want me to fight to the finish here, have all Trojans and Argives take their seats and pit me against Menelaus, dear to ours. We'll fight it out for Helen and all her wealth. And the one who proves the better man and wins, he'll take those treasures fairly. We
Yeah, your mic's kind of cutting out.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Where did I?
Can you go from right between the lines?
Right between the line?
Yeah, now you sound
okay. Right between the lines. We'll fight it out for Helen and her wealth, and the one who proves the better man and wins, he'll take those fairly, lead them home. The rest will seal in blood their binding pacts of friendship. Our people, we will live in peace on the railway, our to this Argos. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
you're cutting out.
Not, is it that? Sorry.
It's okay. For some reason,
so
you're reading.
Yeah, it's not when you're talking.
Literally.
Oh, that's really bad timing. But it seems like the TLDR seems like I feel like he's gonna. I don't know what happens, but I feel like he's like talking all this game and he's gonna die. Like.
Who do you think is gonna die?
I think Paris is like, I can fight him. I'm gonna kick his ass, and then it's just like, no.
Pretty much. The first bit he goes through is like, literally don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Like, the gods gave me these looks, like you can't be mad because I'm pretty, like whatever. So to the ancient Greeks, beauty was like a total virtue. It's like very important, and it was seen as a gift from the gods. So if you were beautiful, you were expected, like, you're not just beautiful, you're wonderful, like you're awesome, you're kind and smart, because why else would the gods gift you with beauty?
That's like the only reason that they hate that one guy. Thersites.
Yes, Thersites, yeah, because he's so ugly. Exactly. They're like, the gods obviously don't like you, so neither do we. So Helen's beautiful. Paris is beautiful. That's why Aphrodite loves them so much. But we can't forget that Helen, as he mentions, is not just pretty, she's rich. So beyond just her beauty, the honor of the thing, there's also a bunch of money that's tied up in this war. All right, so regardless, he goes, yes, here's the deal. You're right. I'm a little bit of a wimp, but I will fight Menelaus. Let's do it 1-to-1. We'll end the war right now. We'll duel. He and I will duel, and whoever wins gets the girl, gets the wealth, and we'll end the war. No one else has to die. And Hector's like, Yeah. Yeah, why didn't we do this before? Perfect.
It took him 9 years to figure that one out.
Right. I think mostly it's like Paris just hasn't had the courage till this moment when he was challenged.
Just got his 2 favorite spears finally.
Yeah. All right, so when Hector heard that challenge, he rejoiced, and right into the no man's land, along his lines he strode, gripping his spear mid-half, staving men to a standstill. But the long-haired Argive archers aimed at Hector, trying to cut him down with arrows, hurling rocks, till King Agamemnon cried out in a ringing voice. Colin, do you want to be Agamemnon?
Hold back, Argives, sons of Achaea. Stop your salvos. Look, Hector with that flashing helmet of his. The man is trying to tell us something now.
Right, so Paris told his plan to Hector, like, privately, so Hector's now going to announce the duel plan idea. They held their attack. Quickly, men fell silent, and Hector pleaded, appealing to both armed camps.
Hear me, Trojans, Achaeans, geared for combat. Hear the challenge of Paris, the man who caused our long, hard campaign. He urges all the Trojans, all the Argives too, to lay their fine armor down on the fertile earth while Paris himself and the warrior Menelaus take the field between you and fight it out for Helen and all her wealth in single combat. And the one who proves the better man and wins, he'll take those treasures fairly, lead the woman home. The rest will seal in blood their binding pacts of friendship. Yikes.
He stopped. A hushed silence held the ranks, and Menelaus, whose cry could marshal armies, urged both sides. Let me see. I wonder, Colin, do you want me Menelaus too? Because I don't think Agamemnon actually comes back very much.
Sure.
Okay.
Now hear me out as well. Such limited vengeance hurts me most of all. But I intend that we will part in peace, at last. Trojans and Achaeans, look what heavy casualties you have suffered just for me, my violent quarrel, and Paris, who brought it on you all. Now we'll fight, and death to the one marked out for doom and death. But the rest will part in peace, and soon, soon. Bring 2 lambs, a white male and a black ewe, for the sun and earth, and we'll bring a 3rd for Zeus, and lead on Priam too, Priam in all his power, so the king himself can seal our truce in blood. His royal sons are reckless, not to be trusted. No one must trample on the oath we swear to Zeus. The minds of the younger men are always flighty, but let an old man stand his ground among them. One who can see the days behind, the days ahead. That is the best hope for peace, for both our armies.
Nice. So he's asking to bring a sacrifice so that Zeus can like bless the agreement. And they're going to bring out Priam, who is Hector and Paris's dad and the king of Troy. And Priam is going to agree on like behalf of his son. So basically they're like doing everything they can to bind this like in stone. Like, this is it. We're going to end the whole war right here, right now. We promise. There's about 500 pages left. So like, you can get that.
But it's fine. We promise it's going to end. Don't worry.
It just feels so ridiculous that like they fought for almost a decade. Now they're like gonna do the Greek equivalent of like a backyard wrestle about it. Like,
don't you know that's how all good wars end? It's just like
just with 2 guys.
Combat, it's over. It's fine.
Just the idea that they're like, all right, we're all gonna kill Paris and like be friends again. Like,
right?
And he's like, I got it, guy.
No worries.
No worries.
The Achaean and the Trojan forces both exulted, hoping this would end the agonies of war. Spoiler alert, no. They hauled their chariots up in ranks, at rest. The troops dismounted and stripped away their arms, and laid them down on the earth, crowded together. Hardly a foot of plowland showed between them. Back to the city, Hector sent 2 heralds now to bring the lambs at once and summon Priam, while King Agamemnon sent Talthybius off, heading down to the ships for 1 more lamb. The herald obeyed his captain's orders quickly. Okay, so keep in mind, Zeus does not want the war to end. Zeus is on Achilles' side, and Achilles needs to, like, prove himself in a big-ass battle. So if the war ends now, Achilles won't get to, like, get back at Agamemnon. So Zeus is sending his messenger Iris down to make sure that the war doesn't end. So she comes down now. A messenger went to white-armed Helen too. Iris, looking for all the world like Hector's sister, she's in disguise, wed to Antenor's son, Heliacon's bride, Laodice, the loveliest daughter Priam ever bred. And Iris came on Helen in her rooms. Helen was weaving a growing web, a dark red folding robe, working into the weft the endless bloody struggles, stallion breaking Trojans and Argives armed in bronze had suffered all for her at the god of battle's hands. She's weaving like a tapestry that tells the story of the war. Iris, racing the wind, brushed close and whispered, "Come, dear girl, come quickly, so you can see what wondrous things they're doing, stallion breaking Trojans and Argives armed in bronze. A moment ago they longed to kill each other, longed for heartbreaking, inhuman warfare on the plain. Now those very warriors stand at ease, in silence. The fighting's stopped. They lean against their shields, their long lances stuck in the ground beside them. Think of it! Paris and Menelaus, loved by Ares, go to fight it out with their rugged spears, all for you. And the man who wins that duel, you'll be called his wife." And with those words, the goddess filled Helen's heart with yearning, warm and deep for her husband long ago, her city, and her parents. Quickly cloaking herself in shimmering linen, out of her rooms she rushed, live tears welling, and not alone. 2 of her women followed close behind, Aethra, Piteus' daughter, and Clymene, eyes wide, and they soon reached the looming Scaean gates. Okay, so they're on like the gates of a city, the outer wall. These are the walls, the gates that are keeping the Achaeans at bay. They can't break through here. They've been trying for a decade. It's a lot of important stuff's going to happen right at the boundary wall here. So right now they're on top of it, looking down at the fighters. And there they were, gathered around Priam, Panthos and Thymoetes, Lampus and Clytius, Hygtaon, the gray aide of Ares, then those 2 with unfailing good sense, Ochagon and Antenor. The old men of the realm held seats above the gates. Long years had brought their fighting days to a halt, but they were eloquent speakers still, clear as cicadas settled on treetops, lifting their voices through the forest, rising softly, falling, dying away. So they waited, the old chiefs of Troy, as they sat aloft the tower, and catching sight of Helen moving among the ramparts, they murmured one to one another, gentle, winged words. Who on earth can blame them? Ah, no wonder the men of Troy and Argives under arms have suffered years of agony all for her. For such a woman, beauty, terrible beauty, a deathless goddess, so she strikes our eyes. But still, ravishing as she is, let her go home in the long ships and not be left behind. For us and our children down the years an irresistible sorrow. They murmured low, but Priam, raising his voice, called across to Helen. Alrighty, who would like to be Priam? King of Trojans.
I can be Priam.
Yeah.
Come over here, dear child. Sit in front of me, so you can see your husband of long ago, your kinsmen and your people. I don't blame you. I hold the gods to blame. They are the ones who brought this war upon me, devastating war against the Achaeans. Here, come closer. Tell me the name of that tremendous fighter. Look, who's that Achaean there, so stark and grand? Many others afield are much taller, true, but I have never yet set eyes on one so regal, so majestic. That man must be a king.
Yeah, so it's cool to see who everybody blames for the war. Like Hector blames his brother. Priam, Paris's father, blames the gods. So it's like he doesn't want to blame his son, so he blames the gods. It's kind of everyone's fault at one point. And Helen, the radiance of women, answered Priam. All right, which of you wants to be the radiance of women?
I can be Helen.
Yeah.
Sorry, the dog is being crazy. If I revere you so, dear father, dread you too. If only death had pleased me then, grim death. That day I followed your son to Troy, forsaking my marriage bed, my kinsman and my child, my favorite, now full grown, and the lovely comradeship of women my own age. Yeah, she's only got these like weird old guys watching her. Death never came, so now I can only waste away in tears. But about your question, yes, I have the answer. That man is Atreus' son, Agamemnon, lord of empires, both a mighty king and a strong spearman too. And he used to be my kinsman, whore that I am. Oh, don't be mean to yourself. There was a world, or was it all a dream?
Yeah. So there's quite a bit of self-slut shaming that happens with Helen.
She didn't really have a choice.
Right. So again, Iris is kind of affecting her at the moment. So Zeus is, through Iris, kind of making her feel guilty. He wants the war to keep going. So creating like inner instability in Helen's heart will make it keep going. Because if she just ran out and was like, I choose Menelaus, let's go, like it would kind of solve an issue.
Yeah.
So she's torn. But also, yeah, it's interesting, kind of how she feels about the situation. It's never quite clear who she actually loves, or whether she's going off duty, or whether the gods are affecting her, kind of what's going on. It's just pretty yikesy either way. So her voice broke, but the old king, lost in wonder, cried out.
That's me, right?
Yes, you are the old king, lost in wonder.
Okay. How lucky you are, son of Atreus, child of fortune. Your destiny so blessed. Look at the vast Achaean armies you command. Years ago, I visited Phrygia?
Yeah.
Phrygia.
Phrygia? Years ago, I visited Phrygia, rife with vineyards, saw the Phrygian men with their swarming horses there, multitudes, the armies of Atreus, Magdan, Magdan, like a god, encamped that time along the Sangarius riverbanks.
Like the universe that he's just making everything up. He's just murky.
Along the Sangarius riverbanks. And I took my stand among them, comrade in arms, the day the Amazon struck, a match for men in war. But not even those hordes could match these hordes of yours, your fury-eyed Achaeans.
And citing Odysseus next, the old king questioned Helen.
Wait, this is still the king or this is Helen?
That's you.
Oh, okay. Come, dear child, tell me of that one too. Now who is he? Shorter than Atreus' son Agamemnon, clearly, but broader across the shoulders, through the chest. There, you see, his armor's heaped on the green field, but the man keeps ranging the ranks of fighters like a ram. Yes, he looks to me like a thick-fleeced bellwether ram, making his way through a big mass of sheep flocks, shining silver gray.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So she's on like a rampart, right?
Like the outer walls, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and like everyone else, like the old guys and Priam are like farther away.
No, they're next to her on the wall. They're all just watching the war from a distance.
Oh, okay. So they're all the rampart. I thought like they were far away. Like this is like a calling across like conversation. So that helps. So they're all on the wall together.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Helen, the child of Zeus. True, she's the half sister to Hercules, child of Zeus. Replied.
That's Laertes' son. That's Laertes' son, the great tactician Odysseus. He was bred in the land of Ithaca, rocky ground, and he's quick at every treachery under the sun. The man of twists and turns.
Helen paused, and the shrewd... Oh, Marat's coming in. The shrewd Marat has entered the room.
Yay!
Whoa, shrewd.
Shrewd! Let me see. There he is.
Marat, meet my dog.
Hello.
Yay. Hi.
You can't hear us?
I'm sure he's gonna get it.
Yeah, it'll be great. Sometimes Zoom does that. It just like doesn't like you to hear things.
It's like, oh, you? No.
Yeah.
You're just as bad as Paris.
Hello.
So loud.
Whoa, yay, he's here.
Yay!
Hi, hello.
Hi.
I'm very sorry for being very late.
It's okay.
Okay, well, y'all are very nice.
Like your haircut.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
Appreciate
looks nice.
it. Thank you. Oh, is that Darian? Oh, yeah. Dude, long time no see. What's up?
Pandemic.
So great. All right, solid.
Yep. How about you?
Pandemic. You know, a little surprising, but you know.
Never would have guessed.
You never would have guessed, honestly. It's not like, it's kind of like an underground thing right now.
Oh, yeah, here too. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on the down low.
only the cool kids. Exactly. We're trying to keep it on DL right now.
Yeah.
Right. But what page are we on?
We're on
Did
page...
y'all finish?
No. We're on page 135 of the book. I don't know what page it is.
35.
It's, wait.
I got it.
151 on the
I
PDF.
know. I'm there. Years ago.
Nice. What's happening is we're on the Trojan side, and Helen is explaining to King Priam who all these different people are
Oh.
as they're watching. And Paris and Menelaus are about to duel for Helen to just end the whole war right here and now.
Wait, that's sick.
Yeah.
Okay. I came at a good time.
I know.
Yeah, duel to the death.
It's
It's
exciting.
about to happen.
That's the only right duel, bro.
All right, so
Wait, why am I putting mask on? Let's say. We can concert.
near the bottom third, Helen paused, and the shrewd and Teeter carried on her story. Oh, this is a different person. Do you not want to talk, Marat, or do you want to be
Straight to the point, my lady. Very true. Oh, it keeps going. Once in the past, he came our way, King Odysseus, heading the embassy they sent for your release, together with Menelaus, dear to Ares. Oh, I hosted them, treated them warmly in my hall, so I have to like kind of be quiet and learn the ways of both, their strategies, their trades. Now, when they mingled with our Trojans in assembly, standing side by side, Menelaus' soldiers mounted over his friends in height and spread. When both were seated, Odysseus looked more lordly. But when they spun their appeals before us all, Menelaus spoke out quickly, his words racing, few but clear as a bell, nothing long-winded or off the mark, though in fact the man was younger. But when Odysseus sprang up, the famed tactician would just stand there and staring down hard, his eyes fixed on the ground, never shifting his scepter back and forth, clutching it stiff and still like a mindless man. You'd think him a sullen fellow or just plain fool. But when he let loose the great voice from his chest, and the words came piling on like a driving winter blizzard, then no man alive could rival Odysseus. We no longer gaze in wonder at his look.
right. So Helen's servant just kind of explains what Odysseus for a bit.
Nice.
Catching
No
sight
idea what that was about.
Catching sight of a third fighter, Ajax,
Yeah.
the old king, asked her next.
My boy.
Who's that other Achaean, so powerful, so well built? He towers over the Argives. His head, his massive shoulders.
Ooh,
So big.
I like this guy.
And Helen, in all her radiance, her long robes, replied,
Why, that's the giant Ajax, bulwark of the Achaeans. And Idomeneus is over there, standing with his Cretans. Like a god, you see. and the Cretan captains form a ring around him? How often Menelaus, my good soldier, would host him in our halls in the old days when he'd sail across from Crete. And now I see them all, the fiery-eyed Achaeans. I know them all by heart, and I could tell their names. But two I cannot find, and they're captains of the armies. Castor, breaker of the horses, and the hardy boxer, Polydeuces. Did I do that right? Hardy boxer Polydeuces, my blood brothers. Mother bore them both. Perhaps they never crossed over from Lacedaemons.
Yeah.
Never crossed over from Lacedaemon's lovely hills. Or come they did, sailing here in the deep sea ships, but now they refuse to join the men in battle, dreading the scorn the curses hurled at me.
Okay, so Castor and Polydeuces, they're sometimes called Castor and Pollux. They're actually the twins that are Gemini, like the star sign. So they're twins. They're Helen's half siblings. They're already dead, and she doesn't know that. They died in a battle ahead of time. So this is a bit of dramatic irony. Because the reader, well, in ancient Greece would know that already. You know, like, ooh.
Oh.
And actually, Homer repeats it. So she wavered, but the earth already held them fast, long dead in the life-giving earth of Lacedaemon, the dear land of their fathers. Sad. Already dead. Now, through Troy, the heralds brought the offerings for the gods, sacred victims to bind and seal the oaths. 2 lambs and the wine that warms the heart, the yield of the vine, filling a goatskin sack, and the herald Aeneas carried a gleaming bowl and golden wine cups. This is all the stuff for the sacrifice to bless the wager. Reaching the old king's side, the crier roused him sharply. Son of Laomedon, raise up. They are calling for you now, commanders of both armies, stallion-breaking Trojans and Argives armed in bronze. Come down to the plain so you can seal our oaths. Now Paris and Menelaus, Atrides loved by Ares, will fight it out with their rugged spears for Helen. And Helen and all her treasures go to the man who wins. The rest will seal in blood their binding pacts of friendship. Our people will live in peace on the rich soil of Troy. Our enemies sail home to the stallion land of Argos, the land of Achaea, where the women are a wonder. So the news finally reaches Priam. A shudder went shooting through the old man, but he told his men to yoke the team at once. They promptly obeyed, and Priam climbed aboard, pulling the reins back taut. Antenor flanked him, mounting the gleaming car, and both men drove the team through the Scaean gates, heading toward the plain. So he shudders in fear because he knows that his son Paris sucks and he is not going to win this battle.
It's pretty, but he's not a good fighter.
Yeah, he's
Really?
bad at fighting.
Oh.
Reaching the front, they climbed down from the chariot onto the earth that feeds us all, and into the space between the Achaean and Trojan lines they marched. Lord Agamemnon rose at once to greet them both, with the great tactician Odysseus by his side. The noble heralds brought on the victims marked for the gods to seal and bind the oaths. They mixed the contenders' wine in a large bowl and rinsed the warlords' waiting hands with water. Atreus' son drew forth the dagger always slung at his battle sword's big sheath, cut some tufts from the lamb's head, and the heralds passed them around to Achaean and Trojan captains. Then Atreus' son Agamemnon stood in behalf of all, lifted his arms, and prayed in his deep, resounding voice.
Father Zeus, ruling over us all from Ida, God of greatness, God of glory, Helios, sun above us, and you who see all, hear all things, rivers, and earth, and you beneath the ground who punish the dead, whoever broke his oath, be witness here, protect our binding pacts. If Paris brings Menelaus down in blood, he keeps Helen himself and all her wealth, and we sail home in our racing deep-sea ships. But if red-haired Menelaus brings down Paris, and Trojans surrender Helen and all her treasures, and they pay us reparations fair and fitting, a price to inspire generations still to come. But if Priam and Priam's son refuse to pay, refuse me, Agamemnon, with Paris beaten down, then I myself will fight it out for the ransom I'll battle here to the end of our long war.
Right. So again, explaining the wager of this battle, he asks Zeus, Helios, the last of the Titans, all the 4 elements to bless this wager, and explains the terms. And on those terms, he dragged his ruthless dagger across the lambs' throats and let them fall to the ground, dying, gasping away their life breath, cut short by the sharp bronze. Then, dipping up the wine from the mixing bowls, brimming their cups, pouring them on the earth, the men said their prayers to the gods who never die. You could hear some Trojan or some Achaean calling, Zeus, God of greatness, God of glory, all you immortals, whichever contenders trample on this treaty first, spill their brains on the ground as this wine spills. Theirs, their children's too, their enemies rape their wives.
Jesus.
You do not want to break this treaty.
Don't break this treaty, bro.
It's almost like foreshadowing or something.
Oh, geez.
Whack.
Nah.
But Zeus would not fulfill their prayers. Not yet. Remember, Zeus has a plan. He does not want this war to end yet. Now Priam rose in their midst.
Teacher, I have a question.
Yes?
Why doesn't Zeus want war end?
Yes, so Zeus is on Achilles' side, and Achilles wants to show Agamemnon that Achilles is awesome. And if the war ends now, Achilles won't get that chance.
Oh, I see. He's trying to flex.
So
Got
Zeus
it.
is trying to let the Trojans win a little bit so that Achilles can have his chance to like show off, basically.
So weird. I like that. Right.
It's really petty. But
It's really
Zeus kind of sucks.
Yeah, Zeus kind of blows, bro.
Kind of like everybody but Hector blows.
That's so true. Just in life in general.
yeah, we'll get more of Hector soon.
Thank God.
Yeah.
All right, so Priam, Darian, rose in their midst and took his leave.
Hear me, Trojans, Achaeans geared for combat. Home I go to windy Ilium, straight home now. This is more than I can bear, I tell you, to watch my son do battle with Menelaus, loved by the war god right before my eyes. Zeus knows, no doubt, and every immortal too, which fighter is doomed to end all this in death.
Yeah. So Priam is like, I know Paris is going to die. I can't watch. I'm going to go back.
Oof.
Lots of, yeah.
That's so funny. It's like everybody here knows. It's not
We all know he died.
Damn it.
He's
He's
dead.
pretty, but he sucks at battle.
Goodbye.
And laying the sheep, victims in the chariot, noble Priam climbed aboard, pulling the reins back taut. And Tina flanked him, mounting the gleaming car, and back they drove again, heading home to Troy. But Priam's son, Prince Hector, and royal Odysseus measured off the ground for single combat fight, then dropped 2 stones in a helmet, lots for casting. Who would be the first to hurl his bronze-tipped spear? Did you have a question? No. Okay.
Me? Oh, so I was
I
just
thought you were.
moving.
But it was just a
Oh,
dramatic.
no, I was just yawning.
Okay. The armies prayed and stretched their hands to the gods. You could hear some Trojan or Achaean pleading, Father Zeus, ruling over us all from Ida, God of greatness, glory, whoever brought this war on both our countries, let him rot and sink to the house of death. But let our pacts of friendship all hold fast.
Oh.
So they prayed, as tall Hector, eyes averted under his flashing helmet, shook the 2 lots hard, and Paris' lot leapt out. So they draw straws. Paris gets to go first. He gets to throw his spear first, is what they were drawing for.
Oh.
The troops sat down by rank, each beside his horses, pawing on the ground where blazoned war gear lay. And now, one warrior harnessed burnished armor on his back, magnificent Paris, fair-haired Helen's consort.
Ooh.
First he wrapped his legs with well-made greaves, fastened behind the heels with silver angle clasps. Next he strapped a breastplate round his chest. His brother Lycaon's that fitted him so well. He is so not a fighter, he has to borrow his big brother's armor.
Oh, you got hand-me-downs?
Yeah, because he never fights, because he sucks.
Oh, he's just too pretty to fight. Oh boy, that's a life, bro.
Then over his shoulder Paris slung his sword, the fine bronze blade with its silver-studded hilts, and then the shield strap and his sturdy massive shield, and over his powerful head he set a well-forged helmet, the horsehair crest, that like ponytail looking thing, tossing, bristling terror. And last he grasped a spear that matched his grip, following step by step and fighting Menelaus, strapped on armor too. We don't get the details from Menelaus.
Oh.
They do like a whole makeover scene for Paris because he's so handsome.
His whole
And they're like,
montage.
oh yeah, and Menelaus also did that.
Yeah.
It wasn't as good to look at.
Good. It's a one-piece armor. Just zip it up.
Like a onesie.
Okay, we're good. Ready to go.
Bronze onesie.
Both men, armed at opposing sides of the forces, into the no man's land between the lines they strode, glances menacing, wild excitement seizing all who watched. The stallion-breaking Trojans and Argive men-at-arms, striking a stand in the dueling ground just cleared, they brandished spears at each other, tense with fury. Suddenly, Paris hurled. His spear's long shadow flew, and the shaft hit Menelaus' round shield full center, not pounding through. The brazen point bent back in the tough armor. But his turn next. Menelaus reared with a bronze lance and a prayer to Father Zeus.
Zeus, king, give me revenge. He wronged me first. Illustrious Paris, crush him under my hand. So even among the men to come, a man may shrink from wounding the host who showers him with kindness.
Now we know Zeus isn't going to answer this prayer, but Menelaus is so good at battle, he almost comes close to beating Zeus's will.
Oh.
Shaking his spear, he hurled, and its long shadow flew, and the shaft hit Paris's round shield, hit full center, straight through the gleaming hide the heavy weapon drove. It went into his shield, ripping down and in through the breastplate, finely worked, through his armor, tearing the war shirt, tearing through his undershirt, right? Close by Paris's flank it jabbed, but the Trojan swerved aside and dodged black death, very close. So now Menelaus drew his sword with silver studs, and hoisting the weapon high, brought it crashing down on the helmet ridge, but the blade smashed where it struck. So his sword broke on Paris's helmet. Jagged shatters flying. It dropped from Atrides' hand, and the hero cried out, scanning the blank skies.
Father Zeus, no god's more deadly than you. Here I thought I'd punish Paris for all his outrage, but my sword has shattered right in my hands. Look, my spear flew from my grip for nothing. I never hit him.
Lunging at Paris, he grabbed his horsehair crest, swung him round, started to drag him into the Argive lines, and now the braided chin strap, holding his helmet tight, was gouging his soft throat. Paris was choking, strangling. Now he'd have hauled him off and won undying glory. But Aphrodite, Zeus's daughter, quick to the mark, snapped the rawhide strap, cut from a bludgeoned ox, and the helmet came off empty in Menelaus' fist. Gods are on his side.
Oh, that's
Whirling
kind of
it
interesting.
around, the fighter sent it flying, just whips it into the Argives, scrambling fast to retrieve it. Back at his man he sprang, enraged with brazen spear, mad for the kill. But Aphrodite
Jesus.
snatched Paris away. She just like picks him up. Easy
That's
work
kinda
for God.
Honestly.
Yeah, wrapped him in swirls of mist and set him down in his bedroom.
That's so cute. Now, okay. Good job. Playtime's over.
Much. Aphrodite just like, you're done. And just whoop.
You're done. It's like yoink. Bro, like, if I thought it's putting like a full-time shift here, bro. Like, do these guys have nothing else going on? Just like full-time in this war business?
The gods.
Uh,
Yeah, they'd get super involved. Aphrodite is like, hang on.
Oh, is that Laso? Yo, put the mic on.
She's annoying.
Come Lacey, read a line. You're Aphrodite now.
All right. So Aphrodite ruins the wager, basically, which is not a good thing because of all of the
Lisa agrees.
stuff that they put on the wager. Okay, then off Aphrodite went herself to summon Helen, and found her there on the steep, jutting tower with a troop of Trojan women clustered around her. The goddess reached and tugged at Helen's fragrant robe, whispering low, disguised as an old crone, the old weaver who, when they lived in Lacedaemon, wove her fine woolens, and Helen held her dear. Like her to the life, immortal love invited. Who would like to be Aphrodite? Marat, you're Aphrodite. Nice.
Wait, which line is it? I kind of got lost.
It's 141 in the book. Quickly, Paris is calling for you.
Oh, I was there. Oh, so I wasn't lost. Okay, good. Quickly, Paris is calling you. Come back home. There he is in the bedroom. The bed with inlaid rings. He's glistening in all his beauty and his robes. You never dream he's come from a fighting man. From fighting a man, no. You'd think he's off to a dance or slipped away from the dancing, stretching out at ease.
So she's trying to be like, don't you want to go see Paris in bed?
I mean, you know,
She's real
she's
stuff.
laid it out there.
Yeah.
But that's a good wingman.
It's literally her job. Like, that's all she does.
That's literally all she
She's
does.
the god of being a wingman.
Oh, she's good at her job, okay? Unlike me, she's very good at her job.
Enticing so that the heart in Helen's breast began to race. Whew, Paris.
Whew.
But she knew the goddess at once, the long, lithe neck, the smooth, full breasts, and the fire in those eyes. So she knew that it was Aphrodite. And she was amazed. She burst out with her name.
Is this Helen?
Mm-hmm.
Maddening one, my goddess. Oh, what now? Lusting to lure me to my ruin yet again? Where will you drive me next? Off and away to other grand, luxurious cities, out of Phrygia, out to Maeonia's tempting country? Have you a favorite mortal man there too? But why now? Because Menelaus has beaten your handsome Paris, and hateful as I am, he longs to take me home? Is that why you beckon here beside me now with all the immortal cunning in your heart? Well, go to him yourself. You hover beside him. Abandon the gods' high road and be immortal. Never set foot again on Mount Olympus, never. Suffer for Paris, protect Paris for eternity, until he makes you his wedded wife, that or his slave. Not I. I'll never go back again. It would be wrong, disgraceful to share that coward's bed once more. The women of Troy would scorn me down the years. Oh, the torment, never-ending heartbreak.
Oh my God. She's
smart.
Yeah.
So it's rough. Again, at the moment, she's feeling for Menelaus, affected by the other gods. Now, again, wherever her heart does lie, she's angry that Aphrodite has ruined her life, more or less. Like, Aphrodite is at the set of all of this, and Helen's just kind of a pawn in the gods' games, and she's really done with it. But she doesn't really get a choice because she's immortal and Aphrodite is a god. So Aphrodite rounded on her in fury.
Don't provoke me, wretched, headstrong girl. Or in my immortal rage, I must just toss you over. Hate you as I adore you now, with vengeance. I might make you the butt of art. Withering, excuse me, what does that mean?
Like the receiving end.
Yeah, of hate.
Oh, that's not good. A butt of art. Withering hate from both sides at once, Trojans and Achaeans. Then your fate can tread you down to dust.
Yeah. So Aphrodite's like, you do not want to mess with me. Like, the only reason you're not dead right now is because, like, I made everyone like you, but I could just as easily make everyone hate you. And that one ended.
Jesus. Jesus,
Truly the Regina George of ancient Greece.
Yo,
Though she threatened, and Helen, the daughter of mighty Zeus, was terrified. So, shrouding herself in her glinting silver robes, she went along in silence. None of the women saw her go. The goddess led the way. And once they arrived at Paris's sumptuous halls, the attendants briskly turned to their own work as Helen, in all her radiance, climbed the steps to the bedroom under the high vaulting roof. There, Aphrodite quickly brought her a chair, the goddess herself with her everlasting smile, and set it down, face to face with Paris. And there Helen sat, Helen, the child of Zeus, whose shield is storm and lightning, glancing away, lashing out at her husband.
So, home from the wars? Oh, would to God you died there, brought down by that great soldier, my husband long ago. And how you used to boast year in, year out that you were the better man than fighting Menelaus in power, arm and spear. So why not go back now? Hurl your challenge at Menelaus, dear to Ares. Fight it out together, man to man. Wait, take my advice and call a halt right there. No more battling with fiery-haired Menelaus, pitting strength against strength in single combat. Madness. He just might impale you on his spear.
So she's being like Lady Macbeth at the moment, being like, you wimp. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Do it.
But
Kind of like this this fiery-haired Menelaus. Is that kind of mean like passionate? Like, what is that supposed to mean?
red hair.
Oh, all right.
Red or blonde, like blonde or red. It's like in Greece, most people have dark brown hair. So like
Yeah.
any lighter hair would be like fiery hair.
I relate.
Yeah. Fiery haired Colin.
Ooh. Colin's a fiery boy. Oh,
Hi there, Murat. How's it going? I'm fiery.
Firecracker, Colin.
Oh.
Oh, ho, ho.
But Paris replied at once to Helen's challenge.
Oh, my Paris as well?
Oh, you are. Someone else
Oh,
take over
it's
so
the
you don't have
Alex
to
show.
be talking to yourself.
No more, dear one. Don't take me with your taunts, myself and my courage. This time, true, Menelaus has won the day, thanks to Athena. I'll bring him down tomorrow. Even we have gods to battle on our side. But come, let's go to bed. Let's lose ourselves in love. Never has longing for your overwhelmed me. Never has longing for you overwhelmed me so. No, not even then. I tell you, the first time when I swept you up from the lovely hills of
Lacedaemon?
Thank you. Sailed off and away in the racing deep sea ships, and we went and locked in love on Rocky Island. That was nothing to how I hunger for you now. Irresistible longing lays me down.
Yeah.
Lays me
So
low.
he starts off being like, yeah, Menelaus won because like Athena helped him. We know Athena was not involved. Menelaus is just that good. Even when Zeus was trying to make him lose, he almost killed Paris.
Menelaus is a G.
And then Paris is like, yeah, like I lost, but like whatever, not a big deal. Let's just like chill. Let's just hang out. Come to
You're also banging.
Yeah.
Come to bed.
Paris, like, is the worst. I mean, to the Greek audience, this would be like ridiculous because like his honor is on the battlefield and he just ran away and doesn't even care to go back.
Yeah, Aphrodite saved his ass.
Yeah.
Now he's like, oh yeah, let's get it on. It did it for him.
Now, there's a cool image right here. I love this like juxtaposition moment. He led the way to bed. His wife went with him. And now, while the two made love in the large carved bed, Menelaus stalked like a wild beast, up and down the lines. Where could he catch a glimpse of magnificent Paris? You wouldn't want to glimpse him right now. Not a single
Or
Trojan.
would you?
He's hot, this Gabriel. He's banging.
Not a single Trojan, none of their famous allies, could point out Paris to battle-hungry Menelaus. Not that they would hide him out of friendship, even if someone saw him. All of them hated him like death, black death. None of the Trojans like him. But Marshal Agamemnon called out to the armies.
Hear me now, you Trojans, Dardans, Trojan allies. Clearly, victory goes to Menelaus, dear to Ares. You must surrender Helen and all her treasure with her, at once, and pay us reparations fair and fitting, a price to inspire generations still to come.
So Atrides demanded. His armies roared assent. Yeah, Menelaus won by default. Like, Paris ran away.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. But the title of the next chapter is The Truce Erupts in War.
How does it break?
Who knows?
What happens? Who's
Fight us
the
next time.
dastard new
Paris
truce
is probably
breaker
like,
who's gonna rot?
rematch.
Rematch.
Got some new armor, maybe?
Maybe.
Wow.
Something's happening.
We'll watch him put on his armor piece by piece again.
Oh, that would be hot.
I don't mind that.
It's just so absurd to think like that this is all just a flex for Achilles.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
Achilles wasn't
Yeah.
even in that chapter. What's he up to? He's just crying.
He's just sulking with his boyfriend being sad in his tent.
Oh, the greatest of the
for
greatest.
real. I just like, I wonder what they thought at the time. Like, I mean, do they like was Greek culture so different where they're like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, of course Zeus would do that. Like, who wouldn't?
Of course, Zeus would do that.
Yeah.
It's honor is really important in a way that like isn't anymore. It's very like duty based. So like Achilles' mom made Zeus promise to make the Trojans fight harder. So because Zeus made a promise, he's doing it. Like there's nothing can get in the way. So even though it sounds dumb to us, and even if he doesn't want to do it, like he made a promise. That's all you can do. And like the Greeks promised to fight for Helen, and the Trojans promised to fight for Paris, and that promise means 9 years of war. That's it. Like there's nothing you can do about it. So it's definitely like a cultural thing.
Crazy.
And that's why it's so crazy that Paris promised and then just like didn't do it because he's got no honor.
Paris sucks.
Zuko would be disgusted with Paris.
I wanted to know if Paris the city had anything to do with Paris the person, but I don't know.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know. Do you know, Mara?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's where he
Are you looking it up and
to
don't actually
sleep
know?
on the
Yes.
city of love.
So the thing, like, there was once a man named Paris who went to Paris.
Nah, it's from the
Paris.
Celtic tribe, the Parisi,
He went
who settled
to
the area.
Paris.
I do know that
Did I say Parisi? No, I said Paris.
the man that Juliet is supposed to marry in Romeo and Juliet is named Paris for this very reason. So like Juliet's supposed to be the Romeo, like Helen's supposed to be with Menelaus, but Paris ruins it.
Oh,
That's so fascinating.
I really like all of the Homer influences on Shakespeare. It seems like he uses a lot of names and like really likes the classics.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I had to read Henry V for my Shakespeare class yesterday, and there was a reference to Agamemnon, and it was like,
What?
"You're as strong as Agamemnon," and I was like, "Okay."
So what does that mean?
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, she read like the blurb.
Right. Yeah, but it's funny. I mean, Shakespeare obviously read the classics and was versed in them.
Yeah, it's just cool. It's like Shakespeare was inspired by the classics, and then modern people are inspired by Shakespeare, and then people in the future, it's like a thread of literary canon. Look at that, so cool.
It's very cool.
Oh, cool.
That's why we do this video podcast.
That's why Murat, did you have a question?
Teacher.
Yes, Murat. What's your
Okay,
question?
so you guys are gonna hate me for this, but who's Menelaus?
He was Helen's original husband.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Ooh.
And then Paris stole her away. Well, actually, Aphrodite stole her away and gave her to Paris, which is weird.
Very weird.
Yeah, I don't like any of it.
There's a few
interesting.
different like ways it could happen. Like in one of the myths, one of the versions of the myth, Aphrodite helped Paris seduce Helen, which Aphrodite helps everybody seduce everybody, so it's like whatever. But if it's that, like if he seduced and made her fall in love with him, that's much nicer than them stealing her.
Yeah.
That's what I've got in my head canon.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and it really seems like the gods like the actions of the gods are representative of like emotions that you don't have logical control over. So it's sort of like, oh, they like were madly in love, and that was because of Aphrodite.
Right.
I can get around that.
Yeah, Menelaus, king of Sparta, actually. And
what?
yeah.
Helen left king of Sparta for this boy?
Yup.
Because he's so pretty.
Oh my god. Alright, Paris better be banging, bro. Do we have a photo of this guy?
What do you think? What?
Better be buzzing, and I'm just saying.
Oh my
Definitely.
Does he have an Instagram? I mean, in the movie, he was big nose. So nice hair. Alright, I have to say, he doesn't look very great in these like vase paintings.
Well, he's also the villain, so.
Oh, he ugly. Oh no, that's Menelaus. Sorry, Menelaus is kind of ugly, bro. He's so ugly.
Now do you see why she left him?
He's mad ugly.
And to that effect,
Nice beard,
he
though.
married Menelaus because he like won a raffle, basically.
That's true. Can I also apply to this?
Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is. Oh wait, there's a picture of them fighting. Oh yeah, dude. Paris is getting whooped in this picture, dude. I'm just gonna he does not having a good time.
That's great. That must have been from this chapter.
Oh, it's
Yeah, seriously, because it's a brutal image. Just all of the descriptions of the combat, like dragging him by the helmet, not a pretty look.
Yes, the
Really just roughhousing him.
Good. They're so good. Like that's what amazes me most about these older books is that it's like so vivid. You can see it so well.
I have to say though, like now I'm looking at pictures of like interpretations of what Paris looked like in Greek mythology. He kind of looks like those like baby shampoos, and on the cover there's a baby looking really happy. He kind of looks like one of those babies. Y'all see what I mean? I sent it to the group. If this is what he looks like, I don't understand.
He does look like a
He does.
I guess it's what Greece were into, bro. It's just what did it for them.
We need to link this to the video.
Can we get a picture?
I'll figure out a way to edit it in. It'll be like
Make it the outro.
there.
Paris, the tad of Troy.
We're saying that beauty is like a virtue and would signify your goodness, but is his beauty, it feels like his beauty in this case is also a slight. Like, do you feel like that's the case?
Yeah. I think it's almost like, and again, in the Greek mind of like manliness being very, very good, the fact that he's like womanishly beautiful hints to the fact that he's wimpy in combat, which is not great.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's like Achilles is very beautiful, but in like a manly way. It's different.
Yeah, but it's almost like he's characterized as like effeminate.
Yeah, right.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, but it's an interesting thing to look at.
Kind of explains his personality too, frankly.
His personality sucks.
His personality sucks. They really did not try to make him in any way tough or not even relatable, frankly. He's like, I'm beautiful and my life is easy now.
Yeah.
And Aphrodite loves me. So wait, is Aphrodite actually into him?
He's one of her favorites.
Oh, I see.
They don't ever sleep together. The interesting thing is that they don't ever sleep together because Aphrodite sleeps with a lot of people.
Yeah, Aphrodite kind of has that down.
I think she just like ships him with Helen.
She's like meet cute king.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, Aphrodite is sick.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah. Smash.
Catch y'all next time. Leave a comment down below. Who's your favorite character?
Who's your favorite character?
Who's your favorite character, and why is it Hector? Yeah.
Why is it Hector? Let us know.
Give us a 5-paragraph essay about why Hector is great.
Why Hector is the man.